Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy, bringing you a next little intermission episode of Gloomhaven between completing the last scenario, which was the the barrow, the black barrow, down to the next one, which is the barrow layer. What I decided to do is I am going to continue to play the scenario. I'm just going to make sure that I caveat some things as I go into each episode, so that people coming in new understand what's happening in the game and what the complexities of the game are, challenges, etc., while trying to solo run 3 characters and film and all that good stuff. So, but what I want to do in between each of these is do like a little intermission where we decide on whether or not we're going to take the road event, maybe go back to the city. In this case, because the barrow layer is linked to our first one, which is, the Black Barrow, we're not going to go back to the city. We're going to go straight on. Now, in the end of many scenarios, you automatically go back to the city and collect your reward, but in this case, we didn't. So we're going to continue on. And that means we won't have a city encounter, and our characters are going to get to refresh all of their cards. Everything's going to be reset, their health, their experience points are all going to go back to 0, for example, and we're going to get to start again anew. Now that doesn't mean they haven't lost the experience they gained from the last one, but we start the ticker again so we can collect new experience. And we're going into a much larger, rather more difficult scenario. It's going to be very interesting. And I have played through this before, so I do kind of have an idea what happens because I played through it with my multiplayer group that I'm playing with 3 other folks. And I wanted to cover some talking points, things I like, things I'm challenged with in the game. I do know a little bit more about the overarching story, and it's pretty cool. It does, there's some cool things in there, like the characters, the races in that are not typical of fantasy tropes, and I really like that because we've all played the typical fighter, human fighter, elf archer, and the scoundrel, while she's human, even her character doesn't look all that human. And the Cragheart and the Mind Thief, they're different races, they're pretty neat. I really like that. The races are very different, and we have all these classes we get to unlock as we go when we retire somebody. And that takes a while. Retiring is not something that happens very quickly. Like I said, we're 6 scenarios in, and my character is about halfway through his retirement objective in that multiplayer game. In this one, of course, we only played the first scenario, so we're nowhere near that, and we got a long way to go. So anyway, what I want to do is I do think maybe we'll do our road adventure and get prepared for the Black Barrow as we continue on. And I know the road adventures are never very good. I also think I'll take this opportunity to cover some rules things. Like, one of the things that I really love about this game is this attack modifier deck, and I've said this before throughout the scenarios. I like that you have these attack modifier cards that act basically as a die, but unlike a die, you can modify these decks and improve them over time. So when we do finally get some perks, which will either be when we level up and or when we get some more perk checkboxes on our characters, this is Midas for instance, I could actually remove 4 0+0 cards. That makes his deck better. Now, especially if I replace a -1 with a +1, or add 1 -2 card, but add 2 +2 cards, things like that. It just makes them all that much better. The deck starts to refine where it's not as randomy as it is at the start, because at the beginning you're just not that good. You can't predict as well. So it makes a lot of sense. And now, one thing I was thinking about this as I was playing other games. You put the stickers all over the board, and it represents your progress in the scenario and everything like that. But one of the things I thought would be interesting is, if you're traveling farther away, I wish there was like a risk factor. Like, for example, we barely traveled out of the city. If you look at the map, we traveled from Gloomhaven to the Black Barrow, and then we're going to go up to the Barrow Layer. But if there's a location up here, you'd think it'd be more dangerous or more risk potential if you went northward and kept traveling up to the lake that's up north of the city, along the Silver River. What happens during there? And I know that might make the game a little more fiddly, but that's just something that I think would be interesting. Also, one thing I do want to say is I know you're supposed to randomize the numbers and go in ascending order and have them randomized out. It just felt easier for me, especially my first playthrough, because I'm not playing on easy mode, guys. I'm playing on normal mode, and the game's not. I know some people write and say, "Oh, the game's easy." It's not. I don't think it's easy at all, actually, and none of my group thinks it's very easy. It's not overly difficult, like most good cooperative games. There's a level of difficulty that's a little, it's pretty significant, and I'm playing on normal mode, so add some extra challenge with 3 characters playing by myself. I thought about reducing it to 2 characters, but I'm not going to do that because I think people will want to see the progress of the 3 characters. Just my thought. All right, but let's do our road encounter. See what happens to us next as we head between the Black Barrow and the Barrow Lair. And I did look up. I did want to look up linked adventures real quick and make sure. I do believe we are supposed to do a road encounter. So it says, yeah, after completing the Black Barrow scenario, the party unlocks the Black Barrow Lair. This is in the introduction to the campaign. These two scenarios are linked, so they could travel to the Barrow Lair without completing a road event. I think we'll do that instead, because the road events are. My experience is the road events are rarely ever good, and the city events are rarely ever bad. Now there's probably some mix in there, but so far the city events have resulted in nothing or something good, and the road events have resulted in nothing or something bad. So I think we'll just travel directly between the Black Barrow and the Barrow Lair, and we'll continue to hunt down the rogue that Jaxara, the merchant, has sent us after to collect something from this rogue that was stolen from her. So let's read the introduction to the Black Barrow, and then I'll get it set up, and we'll continue our play session next time. Again, this is just going to be a short video, just a few minutes long, like I said, an interlude or intermission to the game. This is a great point for you to ask questions about the rules or whatever, achievements. We do have a party achievement called First Steps, which is basically, if you notice, you look at the scenarios, you can see it says requirement First Steps party complete. So to do this, you had to have completed this. Now that we've completed this, we can go back and do it again and again and again once it's completed. But that has to happen. That's a party achievement, not a global achievement. So if we have a new party of characters, they would have to get that as well, which means they would have to start with the first scenario again. And in this one it says kill the bandit commander and all revealed enemies. So we got to be careful not to reveal too many enemies. And we played this one the last time. We figured out the trick to it pretty quickly. And it was still challenging, but there was definitely a gimmick to keeping that from happening too much and having too many enemies to fight. But anyway, the introduction. The stench of death and rotting flesh gets thicker as you kick past the corpses of your foes and head deeper into the underground burial site. Guided by the muffled sounds of conversation, you find your way through the maze of crypts and burst into a small room full of hard-faced bandits, all with bows at the ready. They're clearly guarding something. You must be in the right place. So special, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add 3 curse cards. That would be these to each of our players' decks. So as we go into there, we're going to have 3 curse cards in each player's deck. That is not good. That's the only special rules for now. The rest of the special rules come in later. So that means that there is a greater chance of us failing to hit something. There's a curse on this place. I wish that they added the curse modifiers to the enemy decks as well, but apparently they figured out a way to avoid the curse. There is a chest in this scenario, and I'll show you how that works when we get it all set up. We'll play through this and have some more fun. In the meantime, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying this. And I was debating whether or not to continue. And I think as I continue my solo game, I'll get better at avoiding errors, etc. At least that's my hope. I still think I'm going to make minor errors throughout the game, just because while I wouldn't call it necessarily fiddly, it is definitely, there's a lot to go on. I also have to draw new cards for our whatever you call them, battle. I can't remember what these are called exactly, but we have to draw new ones for this particular scenario, so let's do that too. Okay, so the one I'm going to show you is our scoundrels. So we're going to get Die Hard and Dynamo for our scoundrel. Let's see what that does. Never allow your current hit point value to drop below half your maximum. That's rough for her. Kill a monster during a scenario by causing at least 4 more points of damage than is necessary. That's a possibility. I think she'll take that one. And then we'll we'll do the other ones for the other characters. I'm not going to tell you what they are, though. I'm just going to pick them, and you'll have to see what they are if they actually achieve them. Okay, well that's basically, when I come back, I'll have the scenario set up, ready to go with the first room locked and loaded. I'll have these awesome curse cards put in their deck, yuck, and then we'll be ready to play. And we are going to be facing a new enemy in this, which is going to be a lot more undead. So we'll see how that works, and a boss, actually, which will be interesting, because that is a very interesting dynamic there with the bosses. So we'll see how that works. We'll play through this scenario, and we'll see how things go. So take care, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. Again, this is just a short intermission, just to catch you up on what's going on. And we did successfully complete the Black Barrow. We left a lot of treasure behind. We didn't get the special chest that was in there. And no, you don't get that automatically at the end of the scenario if you win. So talk to you next time, guys, and have a great day.